Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Okay. Testing, testing, testing. Okay. Okay, most on crash. Do, 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 do. Testing, testing, testing. Okay. All right, Salakia. Shalom Yabashim Shabrakathum to the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Shemar Alatah Bashim Yahushai to the sisters. We are the Isupk, Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commandant General Yohana. And we've been teaching the truth about the Bible since 1969, and that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives are God's chosen people, and we are the Israelites. And the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Now, there's been a lot of things that's been going on over the past really 2 weeks. I know there's a whole Roe versus Wade. It's been going on. Abortion. Sisters getting mad. I gotta talk about that real quick. I never thought that I'd live long enough to see a day where so many sisters, so-called Black and Latino women, who are getting upset about the fact that babies will live. And I'm gonna get into that a little bit later on, right? Because there's a whole agenda behind that, but I'll save that for later. But the class today, for those of y'all who are tuning in, you can see the title. We're going to be talking about the spirit of lust and confusion, because we live in a time of confusion. I go on the internet, I see a whole bunch of brothers and sisters fighting about history and who's who and what's what, telling each other who they are and whatnot. Meanwhile, the oppressor is just looking at you, making fun of you, to be completely honest with you. I'm going to be completely honest. So with that being said, right, we need to go over what is lust, because lust isn't always sexual, right? Lust can be a variety of things. I'll cover that throughout class. And I want to go over the confusion that our people, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives, go through here, not just in, the United States, because it's not just the United States, the Caribbean, the UK, South America, Central America, all across the world, because, we're scattered all across the world. It's not just the Americas, right? And because of all the colonization, our colonizers rewriting our history, there's been a lot of confusion, and that's been very detrimental to so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives. And now it's gotten so bad, one thing that I've noticed is a lot of brothers and sisters today, I don't know if anybody's noticing it, they're trying to find themselves, right? And when they find a culture or something about themselves or their ancestors that they feel is right, they stick to it. Even if it's wrong, they stick to it. And then what happens is when somebody tells them the truth about their history, they get upset. They get upset. The insults start coming out. Some people get violent, dare I say it, right? But you could thank your colonizer for that. The conquistadors, the Spaniards, the Portuguese, the Dutch, the French, the British, white people. I don't really know any other ways for saying it. Esau, the devil that the Bible speaks of, right? Because I'll speak about the tribe of Judah, my tribe, right? So-called African Americans, right? Who, I'll be honest with you, you can't even see your own lineage past 500 years. All you've ever learned in your time on earth in the Americas is we come from West Africa, we were put on slave ships, and we were scattered across the Americas and the Caribbean islands. That's it. That's all you know. You don't know what tribe you come from. You don't know what language you spoke when you were in Africa. You don't know any of that stuff. And, of course, the biggest trope of all, you think that you are African. Now, I know that sounds kind of contradicting, right? We talk about this a couple of times, but we'll get into that later, right? We're actually gonna be talking about, our forefather Judah, one of the 12 lost tribes of Israel, right? And we're gonna be talking about lust and what it can lead to, and the confusion that our people still continue to endure because we lack the knowledge of our real ancestors. So, with that being said, I'm gonna be getting started with the prayers, sisters. Oh, Slaggy. Actually, before I even get to that, if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. These Edomites trying to do whatever they can to kick us up off the internet. They do not like the truth coming out. I found out what shadow banning is, not that long ago. And apparently shadow banning is when you don't get banned. You don't get banned entirely. Your videos will still go up, but the oppressor limits how much, how can I say this, how many views you get. I know a lot of brothers, who've been on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, trying to push out this truth, and you're seeing that your views aren't really matching up the way you would like them to. Well, that's because the oppressor doesn't want the truth coming out. If they can't ban you altogether, they'll just limit how many views you get, because YouTube is not our platform. Facebook is not our platform. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter are not our platforms. That's the white man's platform. We're just a guest. That's it. Lord allow it, one day we'll get our own platform and we'll be able to do our own work free from the oppression that Esau still continues to push on us today. But we'll work toward that eventually. So now, with that being said, let's see. With that being said, we started with the prayer. So Amijim, just me up here. Laya Sharala. Amadim Apan Yahakwadam, which means to rise and face the east, or stand and face the east. Take these off real quick. We're going to be getting started with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. This is the Lord's Prayer. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakwavka, Faba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Latananawa, Lakum, Kal, Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Kabawathnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabawathinawa, Wala'ah, Thabayanawa, Manasaiwan, Abal, Hawashainawa, Ma'ayun, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwath, Waha'ala, Wataparath, Lawalumyum, Amun. Now in the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Hakak, which is the power in the Hebrew, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Babakasha, Latananawa, Hakak, Drapa'ah, Kal, Makala, Wakal, Madawa, Hakak, Latahar, Hamatazarayim, Hakak, Lahaquayim, Hamathium, Hakak, Ayel, Rakawath, Hatama'ala, Lagarshun, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Thawada, Amun. Now in the English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out in the name of Yahushai. Thank you. So be it. The blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh, Wa Yahushai, Wa Miyaka'ala, Wa Alahayim, Matazab Ya'ah, Alawap Yahana, Ha Alawapyum, Ha Saronyum, Hakatazayoyin, Waha Akwathian, Slagia, Haka Yayoyin, Waha Akwathian, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, for water a month. Now in the English, bless you, Yahweh, and Yahushai, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yohanan, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, thank you, so be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayunya, All, Hahoyim, Ma'ayun, Yaba'ah, Izoria, Ma'aim, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Wa'arataza, Ayatan, Lamawat, Wagorka, All, Yanawam, Shemarka, Hana, La'ah, Yanawam, Wala'ah, Yayashan, Shawamar, Yasharala, Yahweh, Shemorka, Yahweh, Tazorka, Al-Yad, Yamyamka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'ah, Yakaka, Bayrach, Belialah, Yahweh, Yashamorka, Makor, Rai, Yashamar, Athnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Taza'afka, Wabo'afka, Ma'itha, Wa'ai, Awalam. Now in the English, I will lift up my eyes to the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in, from this time forth and even forevermore. Psalms 83, Alahayim, All, Damaya, Laka, All, Fakarash, Wa'al, Lashakwat, All, Kaya, Hana, Awayibika, Yahama, Yawan, Raash, Alam, Ayel, Amaka, Yaayamwa, Sabadat, Waita, Taitazawa, Ayel, Tazapawanyaka, Amarwa, Slagya, Lakawa, Wanakakidum, Magoya, Wala'a, Yazakar, Shum, Yasharala, Awada, Kaya, Natazawa, Laba, Yakadwa, Ayaka, Baryath, Yakarathwa, Ahoya, Adawam, Wa Yashama'alium, Mawaaba, Wagorium, Gabal, Wamawan, Wamalak, Halashath, Amyashabia, Tazawar, Gum, Ashawar, Nalawa, Imam, Hayawa, Zorawai, Labunya, Lawat, Salat, Aisha, Laham, Kamudyam, Kasaya, Sara'ah, Kayabian, Banakor, Hoyashwan, Nashamarwa, Bayan, Dara, Hayawa, Daman, La'adama, Shayatamwa, Nada, Yamawa, Kairab, Wakazaaba, Wakazabak, Wakatazalmanai, Kal, Nasayakamwa, Ashar, Amarwa, Niarasha, Lanawa, Af, Naawath, Alahayim, Alahaya, Shayatamwa, Kagogala, Kakwash, Lapunya, Rawaka'a, Ka'ash, Fabaira, Ya'ira, Wakalahaba, Falahat, Haryum, Kun, Faradama, Basairaka, Wabasa, Wapathka, Thabaalam, Mala'a, Panyaham, Kwalawan, Waya, Bakwashwa, Shemka, Yahweh, Yabashwa, Waya, Bawa, Adyai, Waya, Kaparwa, Waya, Abadwa, Waya, Diawa, Kaya, Atha, Shemka, Yahweh, Labarka, Ayawan, Alcor, Haratazah. Now in the English, Psalms 83. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make atonement, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur also was joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Salah. Do unto them, as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb, and like Zaid. Yea, all their princes as Zabah, and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. O my God, make them like a wheel, as a stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Lord, let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth. Oh man, I slag it. Just give me one moment. Okay. I slag it. All right, so with that being said, we're going to be reading out of the book of Genesis, chapter 38. And the topic today is going to be, of course, the spirit of lust and confusion, where we're going to be covering a couple of things today. So let's see. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 38, verse 1 in the Hebrew. Let's see. La'ah, Yahweh. Let me see. Yahweh. Ka'aith. Ayah. Ya. Yahawada. Slakia. Yahawada. Slakia. Ma'ath. Akaya. Let's see. Wayata. Aid. Ayash. Let's see. Ada lamya wa washamya kaya da'a. Oh, it's like yeah. Kaya da'a waya ya waya da'a shum waya the what the Yahawada Ka'af Ayash. Let's see. Ayash kan Kanya Yanai. Man, okay. Let's see. Washamya Washam Slakia Washamya Shayai. Let's see. Wayakwa Ka'a Wayaba'a ala ya'a. Yath Yatha'a Ya'ad. Let's see. Yatha La'ad Kan. Wayakwa Da'a Ath Shamya Aid Watha Ad Id Yatha La'ad Kan Yatha Kwada'a Ath Shamya Adan Ayan Na'an. Let's see. Let me see. Watha Ta'ag I see Id Watha La'ad Kan Tha Yathqua Da'a Ath Shamya Shala'a Yahawada or Slakia Yahawa. That's Yahawad. Oh, Slakia Yahawada Asha'a La'id Kaba Ya Da'i. Man, let's see. Yashama'a Thamad Yahawah Id Kaba Ya'ad Yahawada. Let's see. The I Bataza Yanya Yahawah Yawama Tha'a Yahawah. All right, that's it for the first 7 verses. So now we're going to read the first 7 verses in the English. So this is Genesis chapter 38. Let's see, Genesis chapter 38, verse 1. And it says, And it came to pass at that time that Judah went down from his brethren and turned into a certain Adulamites, whose name was Hira. And Judah saw there a daughter of a certain Canaanite, whose name was Shua. And he took her and went in unto her. And she conceived and bare a son, and he called his name And she conceived again and bare a son, and she called his name Onan. And she yet again conceived and bare a son and called his name Shelah. And he was at Kazib when she bare him. And Judah took a wife for his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. And Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord slew him. Right? So now just so we're tracking, this was one of Judah's sons, right? Now, it says right here, and Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord slew him. So his son, is now dead. Verse 8, and Judah said unto Onan, go in unto thy brother's wife, and marry her, and raise up seed to thy brother. So, just so we're clear, right? His wife is now a widow. Wife is now a widow, right? Is gone. For anybody who doesn't know, it does say in the law that whenever I get this question sometimes, sisters might ask, okay, is it ever possible for a woman to remarry? And that question is yes. There is a certain condition where a sister can remarry. The only way that a sister can remarry is if sadly her husband passes away. Because now you are free from the law. You don't have a husband anymore. He's gone. You're not bound to anybody anymore. And I mean, let's be realistic. The Lord's not just going to let you, be alone for the rest of your life, sis. If, I pray no sister ever has to go through this, but let's just say a sister, has a husband, God forbid something happens to that brother, he happens to pass on. The Lord's just not going to let you be alone, sis. You are now free from that law, and you are allowed to remarry. The Lord wants you to have a husband, right? So just so we clear that up. Now, in verse 9, it says, and Onan knew that the seed should not be his. And it came to pass, when he went in unto his brother's wife, that he spilled it on the ground. So pretty much he had sex with her, I guess you could say his brother's ex-wife. He's not alive anymore, right? And instead of impregnating her, he had sex with her, but then, spilled his seed on the ground, lest that he should give seed to his brother. Now let's continue to read what happened. And the thing which he did displeased the Lord, wherefore he slew him also. So the Lord was not happy about that. He was supposed to continue, on the lineage by having sex with this woman, wifing her up, and of course, impregnating her. The Lord did not like that he just had sex with her and then, put it off to the side. That wasn't pleasing in the eyes of the Lord, so he slew him also. Then said Judah to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, remain a widow at thy father's house. Still Shelah my son be grown, for he said, lest peradventure he die also, and his brother as his brethren did. And Tamar went and dwelt in her father's house. So Slagia. So she's listening to the instructions of technically her father-in-law, right? And in process of the time, the daughter of Shua, Judah's wife, died. Let's see. And Judah was comforted and went up to his sheep shears to Timnath, and he and his friend Hira, the Adulamite. And it was told Tamar, saying, behold, thy father-in-law goeth up to Timnah to shear his sheep. And she put her widow's garment on. She put her widow's garment off from her, and covered her with a veil, and wrapped herself, and sat in an open place, which is by the way to Timnath. For she saw that Shelah was grown, and she was not given unto him to wife. So she's still single, right? Shelah was supposed to be the one to wife her up when he got older. When Judah saw her, he thought her to be an harlot. Now, we're getting into a little bit of the spirit of the lust, right? So Judah saw this woman, and he assumed that she was a harlot, a whore, a prostitute, a sex worker. The names change as the centuries go on, but he thought that this was a woman that you could just pay and have sex with her. So let's read what Judah does. Because she had covered her face, and he turned unto her by the way and said, go, go, I pray thee, let me come in unto thee. For he knew not that she was his daughter-in-law. So we got to look at the spirit behind this, right? The spirit behind this is Judah did not know that this was technically his daughter-in-law, right? He just thought that this was just some, some whore on the street that he could buy, some hooker, right? As a lot of, I'm going to say it, Judites do today, right? And it's not just Judah. It ain't just Judah. It's all the tribes of Israel. I see Benjamites do it, Issachar, Ephraim. I found out recently that there's a lot of brothers that fly out to the Dominican Republic because apparently the sex workers over there are cheap. So you brothers get a flight to a different country to have sex with some cheap whores, and those whores are your sisters. You get my point? Like, those are your people. You're whoring out women because, of lust. That's the whole reason behind it. Brothers do that today, sadly, right? Judah, in this moment, he did something the same as a lot of brothers do today. He saw a woman who he thought was a whore, and he looked at her like, okay, I'm about to buy her and have sex with her. So, let's read what this woman does, right? It says, and she said, what wilt thou give me, that thou mayest come in unto me? And he said, I will send thee a kid from the flock. And she said, wilt thou give me a pledge till thou send it? And he said, what pledge shall I give thee? And she said, thy signet, and thy bracelets, and thy staff that is in thy hand. And he gave it to her, and came in unto her, and she conceived by him. And she arose and went away, and laid by her veil from her, and put on the garments of her widowhood. And Judah sent the kid by the hand of his friend the Adullamite to receive his pledge from the woman's hand. But he found her not. Why did he not find her? Well, it's because she left, right? Now it says in verse 21, then he said, then he asked the men of the place, saying, where is the harlot that was openly by the wayside? And they said, there was no harlot in this place. And he returned to Judah and said, I cannot find her. And also the men of this place said that there was no harlot in this place. So they're like, what are you talking about? There was no prostitute here. What are you talking about? You slept with a prostitute. There is no prostitute here. And Judah said, let her take it to her, lest we be shamed. Behold, I sent this kid, and thou hast not found her. And it came to pass about 3 months after, and it was told Judah, saying, Tamar, this is technically his daughter-in-law, right? Thy daughter-in-law hath played the harlot, meaning she played the whore. Was she actually a whore? No. But she disguised herself as a modern-day sex worker, right? Let's keep reading. And also, behold, she is with child by whoredom. So you got to understand, 3 months passed on. Now she's showing, right? Belly's popping out a little bit because he had sex with her. And Judah said, bring her forth and let her be burnt. And she was brought forth, and when she was brought forth, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, by the man who these are, am I with child? And she said, discern, I pray thee, whose are these, the signet and bracelets and staff? Now, so this is what Tamar did, right? So Judah is looking at it like, okay, you were supposed to marry my son when he got older, right? That was the deal. And now you have a child, and that means you had sex with somebody. You were supposed to be promised to my son, and that's not what happened. You went off and had sex with somebody else. That's what the impression that he's under right now. Here's the thing, though. Tamar, his daughter-in-law, he's like, nah, that's not what happened. And she presents the currency that Judah gave her, which was the signet and the bracelets and the staff. Judah sees this. So let's read what Judah does. Verse 26. Judah acknowledged them and said, she hath been more righteous than I, because that I gave her not to Shelah my son, and he knew her again no more. So now he's saying, she was in the right, I was in the wrong. Why is Judah saying this? Judah is saying this because he knows that what he did was wrong. The whole reason he had sex with her is because he treated her like she was a prostitute. What was the spirit behind that? Judah wanted to have sex with a prostitute. That's where his lust was. He just wanted to have sex and that was it, right? Which is unlawful because we know in the Isupk and the Commander General Hana, we know our real custom is if you have sex with that woman, that's your wife. That's your wife. Okay? Doesn't matter if you knew her for 10 years or 10 minutes. You put your rod inside of her, well, that's your wife now. That's not what Judah did. Judah just, got it on and popping and then, just booted her off, which a lot of brothers do today. You pay for whores. You pay to be on some woman's OnlyFans account, right? That's what a lot of brothers do. You go to them little sneaky massage parlors and, y'all know what y'all be doing, right? We've all seen it. Brothers been in the world before you. You've all seen it, right? You probably know of somebody who has done it. You probably got a friend who's done it. My point being is the spirit behind that. Lust. You want sex, right? And really it's nasty when you really think about it. Like, let's be real right now. First of all, you're buying uh you're buying a woman. Now, fake Israelites will try to argue this, right? Because we also know that it is custom for a brother to pay a dowry whenever he is interested in a sister. But a dowry does not necessarily mean, oh, I'm going to give you $5,000 for your daughter. That's not what that means. What men who buy prostitutes do is they'll give that woman money to have sex for a night or two, and then that's it, right? Your intentions are, let's be real, your intentions are not to wife her up. No, you want to have a good time, and when you're done, half of y'all be feeling bad about yourself, and then you get rid of her. She's a whore. The intentions were not to bring her home to meet the family. That's not what it was. She's a harlot, and you knew that she was a harlot, and you knew it was wrong. A dowry, on the other hand, look at that as more of a sign of respect to the father. A dowry also doesn't always have to be money. Perfect example, Jacob, our forefather, when he was paying his dowry for Rachel, his dowry was to serve her father for 7 years. That's not necessarily money. He's earning the right to, marry his daughter, and that's honorable. That's honorable today because realistically, Shalom, Lord Christ, Akwath. That's honorable because in today's society, brothers don't do that. Let's be real right now. Brothers do things ass backwards. You'll sleep with a woman and then, not even treat her as your woman, and then you meet the family later. The honorable thing to do is, if you're interested in a sister, like in the school, of course, you would, of course, speak to her camp leader. Her camp leader, in a sense, is her father figure, if that makes sense to people. You speak to the father. You speak to the man who is responsible for taking care of that woman. Because if you're a father, for all my brothers out there who have daughters, you take care of her, right? That's your baby girl. You want to make sure she's safe and stuff like that. You know that one day your daughter's going to get older. She's going to become a grown woman. She's going to become of age. There's going to be a brother who's going to be interested in her at some point, or vice versa. She might be interested in the brother. And you know that when you give her away, yes, that's always going to be your baby girl. That's your daughter, right? I get it. That's your little princess. But now you understand that you are giving that responsibility that you have as a father to somebody else now. Now her husband is responsible for taking care of her. And as a good father, you would want your daughter to be taken care of properly. A lot of brothers don't think like that today. They just, whatever. You allow your daughter to go sleep with a drug dealer, and then you wondering why she's bugged out all the time because that brother got her on drugs, probably beats her, domestic abuse, etc. Right? That's the whole thing behind it. Just to break that down. But getting back to the topic, lust. Lust. Lust causes problems. A lot of y'all brothers cannot keep it in your pants, and you sisters too, right? So Judah, let's get back to Judah real quick. The whole reason he had sex with her is because he just thought that she was a prostitute. That's it. That's why he did. That's why he says in verse 26, and Judah acknowledged them, meaning the currency that he gave her, which was the staff, the signet, and the bracelet. And he says, go down to her real quick. She hath been more righteous than I, meaning that she might have played the harlot, but she wasn't actually a whore. No, she wasn't actually a whore. She just did that. And because she portrayed herself as a lustful, promiscuous woman, that's what attracted Judah. Not that she was a righteous sister. No, because he thought, oh, I'm about to, get some and keep it pushing. And he had to own up to it. When she provided the evidence, she was like, oh, well, this is what you did. This is what we did. You gave me this stuff, remember? And he's like, you know what? You got me, right? So, Slakia. So that's the whole thing behind that, right? Now, this is just one account of lust, right? Let's go to Galatians. Let's go to Galatians chapter 5. Let me see real quick, Slakia. Galatians chapter 5. And we're going to go to, if I can find it real quick. Chapter 5, verse 19. So it says right here. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, reveling, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. What is this talking about? We are always in a constant battle, right? We're always in a constant battle between spirit and flesh, right? Your body, the blood that's pumping through your veins, your muscles, your organs, that's your body, right? There are certain things your body is just going to do. Like, you're going to get hungry. You're going to get tired. You're going to get thirsty. You're going to want to have sex. You're going to be attracted to a woman or a man. You're going to get angry. You're going to get sad. You're going to be happy. These are carnal things, right? And it's natural. Now, is it a sin to eat? No, of course not. Is it a sin to eat swine and reptiles? Oh, yeah, right? That's why the oppressor makes it taste so damn good. I've met sisters who say, oh, I don't want to give up bacon. I'll die for some bacon. Sis, there's beef bacon. And honestly, beef bacon tastes better anyway. But you probably would never even introduce beef bacon until you came into the truth. I didn't even know there was such a thing. I thought it was only turkey bacon. And turkey bacon tastes like a seatbelt, Salakia, depending on what brand you get. But my point being is, you might want to eat some pork or some shrimp or some crab or some lobster because it tastes good, but your spirit knows don't do that. That's a battle. That's a battle. You might get angry at a brother, right? He might have offended you. And in your mind, your flesh is like, I can't stand this, whatever. But your spirit's like, no, that's my brother. So now you got to pick. You got to pick and choose which one to go with. The right answer is to go with your spirit. Don't always listen to your flesh, right? Let's go to verse 17 real quick. Let's go up. Actually, no, let's go up to verse 16. This is the book of Galatians, chapter 5, verse 16. And it says, this I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh, right? For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, like we just talked about. It's always spirit against flesh. And the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. But if ye be led of the spirit, ye are not under the law. So, my point of talking about this is, it's your spirit versus your flesh. Why do you think, okay, going back to the prostitution, right? Why do you think a lot of brothers, This is some things that brothers won't tell you. Trust me, we all got brothers in the world that we might be cool with or whatever, and they'll tell you straight up, man, she bad as hell. She bad. She a baddie, whatever, right? And that sister might be fine as wine, but she wicked as hell. But your lust is taking over. She all up on you, whatever. She got a man. She really not a woman that you should be messing around with. There's gonna be consequences for messing with that woman. That's what your spirit is telling you. Like, this is wrong. This is wrong. I shouldn't be doing it. You ever seen like them old cartoons, like old Tom and Jerry cartoons? You got like the demon on one shoulder and you got the angel right there. Yeah, that's the flesh. That's the spirit right there. The spirit trying to tell you, hey, bro, don't do it. Don't do it. But then that demon right there is like, just go ahead and do it. Just do it one time. And most of the time, brothers in the world and sisters, they'll listen to their flesh. That little demon on their shoulder, that little demon in their head just, trying to convince you. And then you commit the act. You commit the act. You have sex with that woman. You know it's wrong, but you're so consumed with the lust of she's so beautiful and I love her hair and she got a big butt and all this, whatever. And you know it's wrong. And you know what? We know what always happens, Salakia. What usually happens is brothers have this saying. I don't know if I can say it on camera, but we call it a clarity. I'm trying to find a nice way to say it. A clarity release, right? A clarity release, because once you've committed the act and you've released yourself, there's a moment where you're just like, what in the hell did I just do? Because the demon's gone now. Or that lust that you just built up so much, it's gone now. And now you're sitting there. The lust isn't over you. The demon's not over you anymore. And you're just like, I really just had sex with that woman. I really just paid for sex. I really just slept with another man's wife. What the hell? It's like instant regret that you get. Another good example in the Bible, right? Oh my goodness. Incest. My gosh. I feel like that's a very underlying thing that nobody likes to talk about, but I talk about it real quick, right? Like I forgot his name. One of King David's sons. Y'all probably know who I'm talking about. If anybody remembers his name, you can feel free to put it in the comments. I can't remember his name at the moment, but when he had sex with his sister, right? And he knew it was wrong. Remember, he was battling it like, I think my sister's so big. Like, this is his actual sister, like blood relative, not a sister like how we say. No, this is his sister. I believe they had the same mother, but different fathers. Doesn't matter. Still the same. Yes, that's still your sister, right? There's even a law of that in Leviticus. He knew that it was wrong to want to have sexual intercourse with his sister. His spirit was telling him, like, this is wrong. That's why he was so troubled, like, this is wrong. He was battling his flesh. Sadly, he let his flesh win, and he went to his cousin. And he told him what was up. Like, man, I want to get in that. I know she's my sister, but he even tried to play it off a little bit. I mean, she's kind of my sister. She's like my half sister. That's the demon talking right there, trying to find ways to convince you like this is okay. And his cousin was a piece of crap too, because if his cousin was righteous, he would have told him right there, like, yeah, you need help. Well, let's take a walk. Like, try to convince him not to do it. But he actually instigated it. Gave him a whole layout plan. Like, yeah, man, you're the king's son. You a prince. You live in a palace. Hey, tell you what. Go up there, pretend like you're sick, and then request her to come up there and make you some food to make you feel better. And then no one's going to suspect it. I mean, she's your sister. She's going to be like, oh, my brother needs me real quick. So she's going to help you out. And then, of course, she goes up there. He tells the guards to go away. They lock the chamber. And he forces himself on her. And you got to think, I mean, the average woman is not going to be able to fight off a grown man. And at that time, brothers were training how to fight and stuff. Like, it doesn't say how big he was, but the average brother is stronger than the average sister. You understand? So there was no way she was going to be able to get out. Right? And he forced himself on her. He sexually assaulted his sister. And once the act was committed, immediately after, when the demon left, he realized this is wrong. What I did was wrong, and he hated her for it. Like, I can't believe I just had sex with you. And this is what she told him. It's too late now because according to the law, we just had sex and technically I'm your wife now. And then he started realizing the act that he committed, like, oh hell no. I can't have my sister as a wife. And he sent her away. He later died because of it. You understand? That was the whole point of that. He later died, right? Because the lust took him over and made him do something stupid. Now, let's get a little deeper into this because lust isn't always sexual. It's not always sexual. So we're going to go backtrack a little bit. We're going to go to, let me see. We'll go to Proverbs chapter 6, verse 32. Let's see. Proverbs chapter 6. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 32. Actually, we'll get back to that later. Salakia. I'm done with that one. Let's go to Romans. Salakia. We're going to go to Romans. You see, Romans chapter 7. Man, this stuff is all over the place. Romans chapter 7, verse 18. Now it says right here in the book of Romans chapter 7, verse 18, for know that in me, that is in my flesh. Remember, we're always talking about the flesh. Dwelleth no good thing. For to will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good, I find not. So what this is talking about is in your flesh, there is no good thing. Meaning that if you just listen to your flesh all the time, which a lot of brothers and sisters do in the world anyway, there is no good thing. Because your flesh is going to tell you to do wicked crap. All right. Your flesh is going to tell you, I'm tired. I want to go smoke. I'm going to go smoke a cigarette and then expose my body to, cancer. I'm hungry. I know that, pork is the cheapest meat and I know I'm not supposed to eat it, but I'm not really having a lot of money like that. And I need some food in the house. I'm going to go buy some bacon and I'm going to go eat it. Going back to the whole sex thing. I'm lonely. I don't got no red. I guess I'm going to go buy a prostitute. Oh, I'm lonely. I ain't got no man. I guess I'm going to prostitute myself. I'm going to go to the club tonight. I'm going to find some man to show me a good time, and I'm going to have sex with him. And once I'm done, I'm going to bounce. Probably have sex with his homeboy. That's what a lot of sisters go through, right? Of your flesh, there is no good thing. That's the demon talking, right? That's the demon. If you listen to your flesh all the time, listen to your spirit. Your spirit is going to tell you, like that guilty conscience you get, or like what people call it, that gut feeling. That's your spirit alerting you, like, maybe I shouldn't do this. And if you get that feeling, 99.9 times, it's like it. There's probably a 99.9% chance that you probably shouldn't be doing that mess. Just go with your gut feeling. That's your spirit talking real quick. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because it might feel good in the moment. That pork gonna taste good in the moment. It might feel good to have sex with that woman in the moment. It might feel good to get that money in the moment. That's another thing. That's lust too. It ain't always sexual. Sometimes it's materialistic. There's a lot of brothers and sisters who get drunk off of money and wealth. And I mean, why wouldn't you? Look at how we live. Look at San Bernardino. Look at Chicago. Look at the Bronx. Look at Brooklyn, right? Look at certain parts of Orlando. I've been out there before, right? Look at Jacksonville. Look at Hartford, Connecticut. Look at I'm remembering Connecticut right now. Hartford, Bloomfield, Bridgeport, New Haven, right? Think of those places, right? Think of the hood. Every state got a hood. And usually in those hoods, you might have a few white people here and there, but it's usually so-called blacks and Latinos and natives. And a lot of those times, you're forced to do what you can for some money. You don't have much. Some brothers didn't have a bed. Some sisters didn't have a nice place to stay at, right? So now you've been put in this state where you're always at the bottom. You're always at the bottom. You don't have all the nice clothes like everybody. You're not able to get the new Jordans, when you got grown up. You weren't able to wear real jewelry growing up. Brothers and sisters go through that. And then what happens is, let's say some of you become successful. You go to college, right? You go to college, you get a degree. Let's say some of y'all get a good job. There's a lot of brothers who swear they can rap. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Some of y'all are trash. Not every brother can rap. Salakia. I know we great at music, but some brothers just need to shut the hell up. Salakia. All right. There's a lot of rappers who should not be rappers. But there's a lot of rappers, a lot of entertainers, right? There's a lot of sisters. Oh, my goodness. Meg Thee Stallion, Sweetie, City Girls, Nicki Minaj. I know she's a heathen, but sisters don't know no better anyway. But this is another example. Doja Cat, she's really a Hamite, right? My point being is, minus Doja Cat. But the rest of these people, they have money now. They have money. And now you're so used to being poor all the time. Now you can buy whatever you want. And that money corrupts you. I'm going to drop that real quick, right? We're going to go to the book of Mark, chapter 8. Let me see. Mark chapter 8, verse 36. See, Mark chapter 8. Let me see. Mark chapter 8, verse 36. Now, this is Christ talking. This is in red, right? It says, "For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul?" A lot of these rappers, I mean, y'all see it. They be doing some weird stuff, man. Perfect example, I don't know what the hell going on with Kendrick. That's a fake Israelite for you. That brother talking about, he worships the Most High and he's a Hebrew Israelite. Okay, brother, that's cool that you know that you an Israelite, but I mean, look at what you're doing. That brother going out bad, right? That brother going out bad, saying Yahuwah and Yehudi and Yeshua. Like, nah, that's fake Hebrew, all right? That's fake Hebrew. You understand? And who knows what that brother's doing behind closed doors. It was that music video not too long ago. I forgot which one it was, but it was him and his cousin. And his cousin just gave him a kiss on the cheek real quick. I thought that was weird as hell. And they allowed for that to be recorded and put the video out. Like, nobody was going to say nothing about it. What's his name? The sodomite, crap. What's it? Lil Nas X. Forget about it. I mean, I don't know if anybody's seen his videos. I suggest you don't go see it. Them things are satanic as hell. Dude was, having grown men dancing around butt naked, kissing men, having there was the video he had before of him dancing on Satan and he was Satan. This is wild, man. That's what happens. A lot of these rappers out here, Meg Thee Stallion, perfect example. I've heard Meg Thee Stallion rap before. Like when she was younger, she's actually not that bad. I'll be honest with you. Like when she actually raps for real, the sister could spit. Here's the problem though. These music industries don't care about a woman who could rap. No, you are a marketing tool. So Meg Thee Stallion is a sister. She's a sister. She's a thick sister. So what do you do with that? Easy. You sexualize her. And every single song she comes out with is talking about having sex with a whole bunch of men. A whole bunch of men. Talking about her body. Talking about what's between her legs. I mean, it's if you watch any of them videos now, it's like soft porn at this point, right? They're showing less and less clothes each time. Nicki Minaj, forget about it. I don't know if she's a heathen or not. Somebody said she's East Indian. I'm not sure, but people think she's a sister, and they see that stuff. There's music videos of her with not even a shirt on. She just puts like the paint over her breast to cover up her nipples. But she's clearly naked. Like everybody can see her. There was another video of Cardi B. Everybody talks about that video. What was it? WAP, that happened like what, last year, and everybody was talking about how crazy it was. What y'all don't know is that there's an even worse video. Cardi B had a video a long time ago, and she's fully naked, but they edited out her private parts and stuff, so they can't show it. But she's fully naked. Why do you need to get naked? And guess what? That same sister, I believe she's either Dominican or Trinidadian. She's either Benjamin or Simeon. I'm not sure. She's a sister though, and I don't know if y'all know, but she had that recording of where she had a mental breakdown, and she's a mother now. She has I believe a daughter, and she was having a mental breakdown. She was saying, "I feel like there's a demon in my house. I feel like there's a demon after me." She was scared. Sister was damn near hyperventilating, and she said it was because she felt like the old, whorish her was coming back, and she didn't want to be that anymore. In spite of all the money and the fame that she has, and all these millions and millions of fans that she has, all these men who would die to have sex with her, all she wants to do is be a mother. That's all she wants. Despite all that sister really wants is some guidance and to be a mother. Lord allow it, she finds the Isupk. I doubt it. A lot of celebrities, they've too far deep into it, but Lord allow it, the sister could be saved. My point being is, all these brothers and sisters, they gave up their soul a long time ago. All them little conspiracy theories that y'all hear about brothers and sisters giving up their soul and making contracts with these music industries and stuff like that, that stuff's real. That's not a conspiracy theory. I've seen plenty of videos of people in the industry, and they tell you what goes on behind closed doors. Brothers out here getting sodomized. Oh yeah, we'll put your videos out there, and you'll get all this money, but you gotta let me penetrate you, or you gotta penetrate me. Who knows what else they be doing behind closed doors? They got brothers wearing dresses. I used to be a Kid Cudi fan when I was younger. I like this old stuff. They got Kid Cudi in a dress. They put a lot of brothers in dresses, right? Oh my goodness. What was that? Was it YG? YG and Tyga? I thought I was watching White Chicks. That thing with that's another one. Was it the Wayans brothers? They be doing all types of weird stuff. These brothers, like, I was so confused at first. I'm like, what is this? What are these drag queens? They pretty much are. Talking about, I'm a thug, and brother, you look like a woman. That ain't gangster. Like, what is this? So that's what that scripture is talking about. Because that lust for money, for fame, for power, for being famous, they love it so much that they'll do anything to get it. Even humiliate themselves. And of course, break the law, right? How you a hardcore thug and you out here dressing like a woman? A thug ain't even a good thing anyway. But how you gonna sit here and claim, yeah, I'm hard with a dress on? How you gangbanging with a tutu? Like, come on, man. Come on, man. You shouldn't be doing that stuff anyway, but it's the corruption. It's the lust, right? I'm going to drop that real quick, right? Talk about another account of what lust can do. The money, right? We'll drop that. Let me see. Let me see which one it is. Let's see. Let's go to Matthew chapter 27. We're going to read about somebody very infamous real quick. Y'all probably heard of him. If you haven't, we're going to read about him real quick. So this is the book of Matthew, chapter 27, verse 1. When the morning was come, all the chief priests and elders of the people took counsel against Yahushua to put him to death. And when they had bound him, they led him away and delivered him to Pontius Pilate, the governor. Then Judas, y'all probably heard that name before, Judas, which had betrayed him, when he saw that he was condemned, repented himself, and brought again the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and elders, saying, I have sinned, and that I have betrayed the innocent blood. And they said, what is that to us? Like, who cares? Like, you already gave us what we wanted. We don't want your money no more. You completed your task. You already see right here, there was a demon on Judas, right? And he sold out Christ for, what was it, 30 shekels of silver? Yeah, 30 pieces of silver. He sold out Christ. He sold out Yahushua for 30 pieces of silver. And once he got his money and he realized what was happening to his brother, that demon left him and he realized, oh my goodness. Like the sight of him troubled him so much, he didn't even want the money no more. He's like, no, I don't want this. No, I have sinned. I repent. And they're like, so? It's too late. And it says, see thou to that. And he cast down the pieces of silver in the temple and departed and went and hanged himself. Judas committed suicide because he allowed for the lust of money and wealth to overcome him so much that he betrayed his own brother. But just like always, when that demon finally leaves you, that demon left him when he saw Christ and was like, oh my goodness. Like, just imagine that. Like, for anybody who has a friend, a close friend, relative, whatever, right? And imagine, yeah, that's supposed to be your ride or die. And you just jealous of them for whatever reason. And I offer you $500 or 5 stacks or whatever. Like, hey, I need you to rat him out real quick to get him arrested. He's gonna get the death penalty. We're gonna frame him, whatever. And you're so overcome with, oh, okay, and then you get that money because you want to buy, some new stuff or whatever. You want to get a new car, pay some bills, live a little lavishly. And then you see your close friend, sister, brother, whoever, in chains. And then all of a sudden you feel this instant guilt because you did something wrong, because you betrayed your brother, you betrayed your sister, and you realized, I'm a horrible piece of crap. I want to say something else, but I can't. That's what happened to Judas, because the lust overtook him. And when you let that lust take over you, sometimes it leads to death. I'll drop that real quick. Let's go to the book of James, chapter 1. Let me see, book of James. The book of James, chapter 1. And then we'll go to 1 Corinthians 14 and 33, and then we'll wrap it up after that. James, chapter 1. So this is the book of James, chapter 1. We're going to read verse 14. And it says right here. Actually, you know what? We'll go up a little bit. Verse 13. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. Then when lust hath conceived, it bringeth forth sin, as we read before, right? Judah having sex with a whore. Well, she wasn't really a whore, but in his mind, she was a whore, right? Brothers do that today, especially Judites, Salakia, right? You have sex with a whore. When it came with Judas betraying Christ, right? Selling him out for 30 pieces of silver. You understand? What else? What's another one? Oh, Samson. Samson, right? When he slept with the Philistine woman and he kept sleeping with her, he knew it was wrong, but he just kept doing it. I don't know what that Philistine woman looked like, but she must have been bad as hell or something. She was doing something to Samson for him to let that lust take over him. And he just kept doing it, and it led to his death. Death isn't always necessarily physical, though, right? And it says right here, and sin, when is finished, bringeth forth death. Death can sometimes be spiritual. Perfect example, when King David, when he slept with Bathsheba, y'all already know that account, right? He slept with Bathsheba. I believe the brother's name, it wasn't a brother. He was a Hittite, I believe. But it doesn't matter. He was still married to Bathsheba. I believe it was Uri. And not only did he sleep with his woman, he got Uri killed, right? Now, that sin led to somebody else's death, but it also led to the death of King David's son, because Bathsheba had a son. David was supposed to die, but he was begging the Lord, don't take this grace away from me, but the Lord still punished him and took away his kid. So sometimes death might not even be you. It could cost somebody else their life. for your sins. So you think about that next time. You think about that. Which brings this into my final topic that I want to go over real quick before I cover class. Abortion. Abortion, right? Sinning. Yeah, I know abortion is unnatural, right? I know there's plenty of sisters out there who are going to say, oh, but what about for medical reasons? And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you wicked sisters out there who just want to be a whore and a harlot and get clapped up by every single dude you see. And you just miraculously get pregnant. I don't know why people don't understand this. If a man and a woman has sex, there's a possibility you're going to get pregnant. How you think you got here in the first place? So a lot of you sisters get pregnant by some dude that you have no business having sex with, or you get pregnant and now you don't like your baby daddy anymore and you want to get an abortion just to spite him. I've seen that before. I've seen it plenty of times. Remember how I said your sin can lead to somebody else's death? Yeah, sometimes it leads to the baby's death. People like to say, oh, it wasn't a living organism. I found out that in approximately 3 weeks, a baby can have a damn near a beating heart, right? If you look at the ultrasound of the baby inside of you, the baby can smile, the baby can move around, lungs, right? They can do things. They move. I know sisters, y'all felt it before. When you're far off enough, the baby might kick real quick. You can feel them. That's life. You understand? But here we go with the my body, my choice. It ain't your body no more. There's another baby. There's another being inside of you. You eat. You ever heard that term? You're eating for two, because there's a baby in you. There's a baby in you. If an organism on Mars can be counted as life from NASA, I'm pretty sure an embryo or a fetus inside of a human woman can count as a living being. Okay? But the thing is, we live in the land of confusion. That's the problem. I ended with this. We'll go over two more things, right? We'll go to 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33. Let's see, 1 Corinthians. Let's see. First Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33. I'm going to read something else off real quick. Verse 33. Okay. So now, right here. The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33. For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace in all churches of the saints. So God does not create confusion. You know who creates confusion? Man. A specific one, by the way, Esau. Esau, we live in modern day Babylon, right? Let me tell you why. Again, if y'all don't have a blue letter Bible, I strongly suggest that y'all download one, right? Gives you a lot of the meanings of these words in the Hebrew. So we're going to read what Babylon means in the Hebrew. Babylon, or Babal, says it also means Babel. It means confusion. It also says right here, again, confusion, including Babylonia and the Babylonian Empire, Babel or Babal, Babylon. We live in modern day Babylon, the land of confusion. It's crazy out here. You got to be careful of what you call a person nowadays, because now it could be a man identifying as a woman. It could be a woman identifying as a man. It could be a person identifying as they or them. They and them are plural. How are you two people? That makes no freaking sense. And God forbid you don't call them by their proper pronoun. It's all hell. You're disrespectful. You're misogynistic. You hate women. You're homophobic. First of all, a phobia means you're afraid of. I ain't afraid to fight nobody in a dress. I don't give a damn. You're still a man. I don't care. But just because somebody doesn't agree with your lifestyle does not mean that they're afraid of you. It's not a phobia. If the ISUPK is homophobic, well, guess what? You're heterophobic. You're afraid of straight pride. You hate the idea of a man and a woman conceiving together. That's what you hate, right? Now, the funny thing is 200, it's not even that far off. I'll say maybe 20 years ago, you didn't have to worry about stuff like this. Just think about that. In the early 2000s, we weren't having these conversations. Now it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I see grown women walking down the street butt naked. I was on TikTok recently. Oh my goodness, forget about the guidelines. Our videos will get flagged for hate speech. I got flagged for a hate speech from reading out of a book. A book. I'm reading out of a book. Hate speech. I'm a bully. I kid you not. I'm scrolling through my For You page. I almost second guess myself. I just see photos of, I'm talking fully naked Hamite women. And I believe some of them were sisters. And I mean, not kind of naked. Like, on Instagram, the nude models and stuff, they might, the sisters might cover, like, their breast or something, but you can obviously tell she's naked. This wasn't that. I'm talking, you saw everything. Everything, including what's downstairs. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, what in the hell is this? I thought I was on the wrong site for a minute. I was looking at myself like, hold up, did I click what did I just type in? And I'm like, this is TikTok. So of course I run to the comments and people are just losing their mind like, hello, TikTok guidelines, what's going on with this? And the people making all these complaints, how my video get flagged and they got nudity up here, which is actually a community guideline. If there is a photo or a video that presents nudity or pornography, it is supposed to be illegal on TikTok. And when people were flagging this video, they refused to take it down. Need I remind you, this was originally a kids app. There are children on this app. My 7-year-old little sister can go on TikTok and she will see that crap on her For You page. Some 5-year-old boy saw his first pair of titties today. He don't need to be seeing that stuff right now. He's a kid. He's a child. And then the abortion, you sisters are really brainwashed to sit here and think that this is about you. It ain't about you. If I could real quick, I'll read one more thing and then I'm gonna end the class, right? Read one more thing. This was an article. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. This was an article in, let me see. Is it gonna play? Let me see. This was an article, okay, in 2021, September 9th. So this was an article from the Census Bureau, and it says, America's shrinking white population needs to value youthful diversity. Last month, the Census Bureau released long-awaited 2020 population data showing that for the first time, the nation's white population declined over the previous decade. Cue the fear of white replacement stoked by Donald Trump, many of his followers, who advanced a culture war that now, that now stands the core of our politics. The reason why this whole Roe versus Wade and all this other mess was going on is because the white population was going down. Esau is dying. And there were a lot of white women who were getting abortions. Because that's all Esau knows how to do is kill. Like, if he can't kill nothing, he'll kill himself or he'll kill them kids. That's what Esau was doing. So, too much of it was happening. And the birth rates for Caucasian Americans is very low anyway. But it gets worse. I'm going to keep reading. This is from the Times of India. The browning of America is being fueled primarily by minority groups, particularly Hispanic or Latino Americans, who grew by at least 1 million in 8 of the last 10 years, and overall 10.5 million between 2010 and 2020. It talks about some Asians in here, but I'm not worried about that. So now it talks about so-called African Americans. Now it says African Americans registered a slower growth, but expanding by 300,000 in 8 of the last 10 years for an estimated 3.4 million from 2010 to 2020. Long story short, Israel is increasing. So-called Latinos and African Americans in the United States, our population is increasing. You can thank the Most High for that. And Esau is dying. That's why they're trying to end abortions. Y'all sisters think it's about y'all. No, it ain't about y'all. Esau's plan backfired. Remember, abortion was supposed to be pressed on us so we can kill our kids. It backfired. Esau's women are killing their kids too much. So now they gotta press the brakes real quick. They gotta halt. And now you got all these sisters saying, "Oh, this is women enslavement. It's my body, my choice." Half of you sisters, you know what's funny? Half of the sisters that say that are mothers with various kids. There was a Puerto Rican sister I spoke to not that long ago, and she was fighting for abortion. Meanwhile, that sister posts her beautiful daughter all the time, and she loves the hell out of her daughter. And I'm sitting here, how are you pro-abortion and say that you a proud mother? How? That don't even make no damn sense. You didn't get an abortion, so why are you fighting for it? The land of confusion, y'all. This is the days that we live in. But Slakia, with that, I'm gonna end the class. I gotta get up out of here. The water for everybody that tuned in. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. We gotta continue pushing this truth out. With that, I'm gonna end the class. Amadium, just me up here. Laya Sharala. Amadim upon Yahakwadam, which means to stand and face the east. Slakia. For the sake of time, let's do this. This is the Lord's Prayer. In the Hebrew, Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malak with Ka, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, the Tananawa, Lakam, Kal, Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Kabawatnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabawathinawa, Wala'ah, Tabayanawa, Benasaiwan, Abal, Hawashainawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwath, Waha'ala, Wadaparath, Lawalumium, Amun. Now in the English, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. So be it. Salakia, for the sake of time. We're going to go straight to Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayenya, All, Hahoyim, Ma'ayan, Yaba'ah, Izoria, Ma'aim, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Wa'arataza, Ayatan, Lamawat, Ragalka, All, Yanawam, Shemarka, Hana, La'ah, Yanawam, Wala'ah, Yayashan, Shawamar, Yasharala, Yahweh, Shemarka, Yahweh, Tzalka, Aryad, Yanyimka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'ah, Yakaka, Wyarak, Belialah, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makar, Rai, Yashamar, Athnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Tazaathka, Wabawaathka, Maida, Wa'ai, Awalam. Psalms 121 in the English. I will lift up my eyes into the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved, and he that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Salakia, just one moment. Let me see this real quick. What just happened? Okay. Salakia. Right, so this will be Salakia. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim, All, Damaya, Laka, All, Lakarash, Wa All, Lashakwat, All, Kaya, Hana, Awayevika, Yahama, Yawan, Ra'ash, Ail, Amaka, Ya'ayamwa, Sawada, Waita, Yaitazawa, Ail, Tazapawanyaka, Amarwa, Lakawa, Wanakakidum, Magoya, Wala'a, Yazakar, Shum, Yasharala, Iwada, Kaya, Natazawa, Laba, Yakadwa, Al Yaka, Baryath, Yakarathwa, Ahoya, Adawam, Wa, Yashima Alyum, Mawa'aba, Wahagoyim, Gabal, Wayama1, Wayamalak, Palashath, Am Yeshabia, Tazawar, Gum, Ashawar, Nalawa, Imam, Hayawa, Zarawai, Labunya, Lawat, Salah, Aisha, Lahum, Kamudyam, Kasaya, Sara'ah, Kayabyan, Manakor, Koyashwan, Nashamarwa, Bayan, Dara, Hayawa, Daman, that was like it. La Adama, Shayatamwa, Nada, Yamawa, Kairab, Wakazaba, Wakazabak, Wakazalmanai, Call, Nasa Yakamwa, Ashar, Marwa, Nayarasha, La Nawa, Af, Nawaf, Alahayim, Alahaya, Shaya Thumwa, Kagogala, Kakwash, La Punya, Rawaka'a, Ka'ash, Tabaira, Yaira, Wa, Kalahaba, Thalahat, Harayum, Kun, Daradama, Basa Iraka, Wabasa, Wapavka, Tabahalam, Mala'a, Panyahum, Kuala One, Waya, Akwashwa, Shamka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Waya, Bahawa, Ay, Waya, Kaparwa, Waya, Ab Slakya, Abad Slakya, Waya, Abadwa, Waya, Daiwa, Kaya, Atha, Shimka, Yahawa, Labaka, Aliwan, Alcohol, Harataza. Psalms 83 in the English. Keep not thy silence, O God.
Keep not thy silence, O God.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still.
And be not still.
O God.
O God.
For lo,
thine
enemies make atonement.
Thine enemies make atonement.
And they that hate thee.
And they that hate thee.
Have lifted up the head.
Have lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty counsel.
They have taken crafty counsel.
Against thy people.
Against thy people.
And consulted.
And consulted.
Against thy hidden ones.
Against thy hidden ones.
They have said.
They have said.
Come.
Come.
And let us cut them off.
And let us cut them off.
From being a nation.
From being a nation.
That the name of Israel.
The name of Israel.
May be no more in remembrance.
May be no more in remembrance.
For they have consulted together.
For they have consulted together.
With one consent.
With one consent.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against thee.
The tabernacles of Edom.
The tabernacles of Edom.
And the Ishmaelites.
And the Ishmaelites.
Of Moab.
Of Moab.
And the Hagarenes.
And the Hagarenes.
Gabal.
Gabal.
And Ammon.
Ammon.
And Amalek.
Amalek.
The Philistines.
The Philistines.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
A sword also was joined with them.
A sword also was joined with them.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
Salah.
Salah.
Do unto them.
Do unto them.
As unto the Midianites.
As unto the Midianites.
As to Sisera.
As to Sisera.
As to Jabin.
As to Jabin.
At the brook of Kison.
At the brook of Kison.
Which perished at Endor.
Which perished at Endor.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles like Oreb.
Make their nobles like Oreb.
And like Zaid.
And like Zaid.
Yea.
Yea.
All their princes as Zabah.
All their princes as Zabah.
And as Zalmunna.
And as Zalmunna.
Who said. Let us take to ourselves.
Let us take to ourselves.
The houses of God in possession.
The houses of God in possession.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Make them like a wheel.
Make them like a wheel.
As a stubble before the wind.
As a stubble before the wind.
As the fire burneth the wood.
As the fire burneth the wood.
And as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
As the flame set the mountains on fire.
So persecute them.
So persecute them.
With thy tempest.
With thy tempest.
Make them afraid.
Make them afraid.
With thy storm.
With thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame.
Fill their faces with shame.
That they may seek thy name.
That they may seek thy name.
O Lord.
O Lord.
Let them be confounded.
Let them be confounded.
And troubled.
And troubled.
Forever.
Forever.
Yea.
Yea.
Let them be put to shame.
Let them be put to shame.
And perish.
And perish.
That men may know.
That men may know.
That thou.
That thou.
Whose name alone.
Whose name alone.
Is Yahweh.
Is Yahweh.
Art the most high.
Art the most high.
Over all the earth.
Over all the earth.
You know how to do the salute? I'll show you quick. It'll just be like this. So, men of Israel will give one courtesy salute to the teacher.
Men of Israel gonna give one courtesy salute to the teacher.
All right, so you face me. So, men of Israel.
Men of Israel.
Oh, I just say it also. So, men of Israel, Amijim Shabbat, Amijim, Barak,
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Barakatah.
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Barakatah. Yajmatah. So hands down. Class dismissed. Yeah.